with it.
Yes.
I are diving deep today into Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche.
The Budgetnista.
I got the Budgetnista.
Yeah.
And
She's amazing.
yeah.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about like who she is and why she's, qualified to even write this book.
Absolutely. So Tiffany Aliche, aka the Budgetnista, she has an amazing story. She actually went through some really tough financial times during the 2008 recession. And she kind of had to figure things out for herself. And in doing so, she realized that there was a real need to help other women, especially women of color, take control of their finances. And she has become this financial guru. She's helped millions of women just really take charge of their money. And she's done some incredible things, like she helped make financial education mandatory in New Jersey middle schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah. She knows her stuff.
It sounds like she definitely knows what she's talking about.
Mm.
And that's why I'm excited to dive into this book, Get Good with Money, because, we're always bombarded with like these get rich quick schemes.
Yeah.
But this book talks about something completely different, right? It's called like financial wholeness. Have you heard of that term before?
Yes, financial wholeness. It's so important. It's really I think it's the key to feeling secure and in control of your money. It's not just about being wealthy, It's
Right.
more like, how do we get your finances in really good shape so you feel secure and in control? And a lot of people think,
Right.
when you have a lot of money that you're automatically going to feel that way, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that. It's about getting your finances in shape, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really about this balanced approach across budgeting, saving, managing debt, and investing. They all kind of work together,
Yeah. So it's like having a solid foundation for your money, not just chasing after the next dollar.
Right.
It's more like creating that base so that
Wow.
you're stable and secure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to help us get there, Aliche lays out 10 steps in her book.
10 steps. Okay, that might sound like a lot, but let's break it down. Like, what are some of the most interesting ones that really caught your eye?
Yeah, absolutely. One that I thought was really cool was the noodle budget.
Noodle budget.
Yeah, it's all about flexibility, right?
Yeah.
You know how some budgets feel super strict
Yeah.
and rigid? This one is more adaptable to your life. It allows you to kind of ebb and flow.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Especially, I've tried other budgets in the past and they haven't worked for me. So I like that there's something out there that is more adaptable to maybe my spending habits and the way that I
Yeah.
live my life. So how does it work?
Yeah, so think of it like this. You divide your money into different categories: needs, wants, and obligations. It's kind of like having separate bowls for your money, right?
Right.
So your needs bowl is for the essential things like your housing, your groceries, your transportation. Your obligations are those bills that you have to pay every single month, like your rent
Right.
or your mortgage, your car payment, maybe your student loans. And then wants are for the fun stuff, like
Yeah.
treating yourself, going out to eat, all that good stuff.
So it's not about depriving yourself. It's more about being mindful of where your money goes and making choices
Right.
aligned with your goal.
Yes, exactly. It's all about understanding your spending habits and finding a system that works for you. Right.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And what about debt? That's a big one, right?
Debt. Oh, absolutely. Aliche tackles debt head on in the book, and
Okay.
she talks about these two methods: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. Have you ever heard of those?
I've heard the terms, but I'm not totally sure like what they mean or which one is better for like, different people.
Yeah. So the debt snowball is all about momentum. So you focus on paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of the interest rate. It's like knocking down those smaller dominoes one by one, right?
Okay, I see.
So you get that quick win. And then you kind of build on that momentum to tackle the bigger debts.
Yeah, that sounds motivating, honestly. Like
Yeah.
when I can get those quick wins, that usually like boosts my confidence and I'm more likely to stick to it,
Exactly. It gives you that sense of accomplishment and keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
Now, the debt avalanche is a little bit more strategic. You actually tackle the debt with the highest interest rate first, so you save money in the long run.
So it's more like being efficient with your debt repayment,
Yeah.
even if it takes a little bit longer to like see those debts disappear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it depends on your personality and your financial situation. If you're someone who loves to see quick results and you need that extra motivation, the debt snowball might be a good fit. But if you're more focused on saving money on interest, the debt avalanche is the way to go.
It's like choosing the right tool for the job, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on your personality. But there's another thing I remember from the book, and that is money fights. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Oh, yeah. Money fights. Money fights. We all have them, right? They're those internal battles that we have with ourselves about money.
Oh, tell me about it. Like, I know I should be saving,
Yeah,
but then I see like a cute pair of shoes
exactly.
or like a new gadget comes out and I'm like, well, I need that.
Right. Or you feel guilty after spending money on something that you enjoy, even if it was in your budget.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Those are classic money fights. And Aliche helps us understand why they happen and, more importantly, how to win those battles.
I like that because I think those internal struggles can really sabotage your financial progress.
Totally. And, a lot of it stems from our past experiences. They shape our beliefs about money. And that's really what fuels those money fights. So it's kind of like figuring out your own personal money story, which is super fascinating, by the way.
Yeah. That is interesting. So it's like becoming aware of those subconscious scripts that are like running in the background and then maybe even rewriting them.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it. And she gives us tools to do just that. And she also reminds us to be kind to ourselves, right? We all make mistakes with money. It's about learning from them and moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so important. Like that self-compassion piece,
Yeah.
you're not perfect and you're going to make mistakes and that's okay. But how do we learn from them and move on?
Right.
So we've got budgeting with the noodle budget,
Okay.
strategies for tackling debt,
Yeah.
and even figuring out our own money stories to overcome those internal money fights.
Right.
So it's all about like building that strong foundation, right?
Yes.
But get good with money
Yeah.
doesn't stop there, does it?
No, it doesn't. It goes even deeper. Aliche doesn't shy away from topics that many people find intimidating, like investing, insurance, and even estate planning.
Ooh, okay.
But don't worry, she breaks it all down in a way that's easy to understand.
Okay, so let's unpack those topics in the next part of our deep dive. I'm already curious to see how she makes those feel less overwhelming. But before we move on, is there anything else about this first part of the book that you think our listeners should know?
I think it's important to remember that this book is all about action. Aliche doesn't just give you information, she gives you tools and strategies to actually implement what you're learning. So it's not just theory, it's about real-world application.
I like that. And speaking of real-world application, if you are ready to dive into Get Good with Money yourself, we have a link to the book in the episode description, so go check it out. We'll be back soon with part 2 of our deep dive, where we will explore those topics we just mentioned: investing, insurance, and estate planning. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to pick up where we left off in our deep dive into Get Good with Money.
Yeah, last time we were talking about Alice's unique approach to budgeting, tackling debt, understanding our money stories. But now we're getting into some of the topics that, honestly, I think can feel a little bit intimidating for people, which are investing, insurance, and estate planning.
I know, right? They sound really heavy.
Yeah.
But Aliche does a great job at making them feel way more approachable.
Yeah. Well, let's start with investing. Honestly, when I think about investing, I get like a little bit stressed out because I think about like Wall Street and, stocks going up and down like crazy and all this risk. But is that what she focuses on in the book?
Not at all. She really emphasizes that investing is about making your money work for you over the long term. It's like planting seeds for your future financial well-being. And she focuses on strategies that are accessible to everyone, even if you're just starting out. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Okay, so it's more about building that secure future for yourself rather than trying to like get rich quick. Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
One of the things she talks about is index funds. Have you ever heard of those?
Vaguely. I don't really know how they work, but what they are, to be honest.
Yeah, so imagine, instead of buying stock in just one company, you're buying a little piece of a whole bunch of companies at once. So it might be like the top 500 companies in the US. That's basically what an index fund is.
So it's kind of like you're diversifying your investment without having to pick and choose like individual stocks.
Exactly.
Okay. That sounds
Less risky.
way less risky.
Less work.
And less work.
Yeah, okay.
Aliche actually walks you through how to choose the right index funds for your goals and how to get started, even if you only have a small amount to invest.
That makes me feel a lot better. Honestly, investing has always felt so, out of reach, I guess.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it doesn't have to be.
No, not at all. Okay, let's move on to insurance. I'm going to be honest, this is something I tend to avoid thinking about. Not the most exciting topic.
I get it. It's not the most fun thing to think about. But Aliche dedicates a whole chapter to insurance. because she knows how important it is to protect your finances.
Okay.
And she doesn't just talk about the usual types of insurance, like health insurance and car insurance. She also talks about things like disability insurance and renter's insurance, which a lot of people don't realize they need.
Renter's insurance. What is that? Like, why would I need that if I'm just renting an apartment?
Yeah, so let's say there's a fire in your building, or your apartment gets burglarized. Renter's insurance would help cover the cost of replacing all your belongings.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's about protecting yourself from those unexpected events that could really set you back financially.
exactly.